This lesson is for absolute beginners. We will cover some tools that you'll need for this one. So this is a Pokeball, and we'll be modeling this based on no subdivision surface or any high resolution modifier. It'll be a basic modeling, and we're gonna base it on topology that you can access using just the basic shapes mesh, and we'll do some basic shading just to give it that metallic look, and basic lighting and the cyclorama background. So this is for absolute beginners, so it'll be super slow, and I'll be explaining the tools I'll be using in detail. All right, so let's get started. All right, so first thing we need is to get rid of this one. And before I do that, let me turn on my screencast so you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right, so you'll see the information that tools that I'll be using over here, but I'll explain a lot of things. So first thing is, let's get rid of the default cube. All right, and then I'm assuming here that you have access to your numpad. All right, if not, just go over how you can, if you're using a laptop, you can go to your different screen using the navigation right here. But for now, I'll do keyboard shortcut, assuming you have a numpad, because we'll be using that as well for expanding our selection. All right, so I'm going to press number 1 to go to the front and orthographic. Okay, number 1 on the numpad. Okay, and let's bring in our image. Okay, so I did grab an image right here from online. Okay, here it is. It's just a generic Pokeball. There's plenty of variety out there. Okay, this is the one I grabbed right there just for reference so that we could kind of trace it. Okay, I'm gonna press N, so our little sidebar right here opens up. With this image still selected, as you can see, I just dragged that from Finder or My Computer or File Explorer. I'm gonna go to Item. It has specific location right here, so if you click and drag this down like so, you get access to all 3 inputs, and press 0 to kind of set it back to coordinates 0, 0, 0, X, Y, and Z. Okay, the rotation is already on 90 on X because we drag it on the front viewport. So be wary that when you drag an image, you need to be in the view that you want it, so that you don't have to mess with rotation. Okay. All right, so there it is. So now let's grab the object here that will be closest to this thing, so that the idea here is less work, right? So Shift A summons the add menu, but you can also go to object right here. Okay, I'm sorry, add right here, and then mesh, and then UV sphere. All right, so that's the same thing as clicking Shift A. So if you see me go to add right here, or sometimes I do Shift A, and you see that's the same thing. All right, so UV sphere. All right, there's our UV sphere. And I don't want to mess with, to simplify things, we're just going to leave the sphere as the default size. All right, by the way, when you grab a sphere or any object, you have this input right here. It's like a parameter for its origin. You can change the values here to make it more dense or less dense, add more rings, change the size, so on and so forth. We're going to leave that as default. However, the moment you do something else, let's say I select this object here, when I select back the sphere, I lose that. So that's only on initial, right? So just remember that one, that you only have access to that to change the parameter of the default sphere, or whatever object you grab from the add menu disappears after you do a command after initializing it. Okay, so let's match this one. Let's match the background instead. Okay, so I'm going to select the background, which is the image, and I'm going to press scale. All right, S for scale, and drag the mouse to kind of match it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that, and right there is good enough. All right, we just want to see the pattern for this one. However, you can't see it because you're on we're not transparent or x-ray. So x-ray buttons right here, if I press this, then I get to see through it. The disadvantage is, of course, you get to see less of your object right here. So you can toggle this on and off, right? So I'm going to toggle this off for now because I want to show you how I'm going to rotate this, because it has those rings right there. So you know, to make life easier for us, let's just take advantage of what the object is already. So I'm going to press R to rotate it. I'm going to do string commands right here. So R, then X, I want to rotate it along the X axis, then 90, which is 90 degrees, and then press enter. Okay, there's several ways to do that. Right here, you can just type in 90 degrees on the rotation of the object when you press N, going like so, right, for the sidebar right here. So, but as you work in Blender, keyboard shortcuts, you'll be needing them. It just makes operating much faster. Okay, so right here, I will turn on my X-ray. Okay, so and this one is the this one, let's call this the outer. Let's say outer ball. So it's a Pokeball. All right. And then it looks like we have another one, which is the black inside right here and slightly smaller. So all I'm going to do here is duplicate this. So to duplicate, Shift D, okay, to duplicate. And then Blender's going to be waiting for a command. If you don't do anything, default is move. So I want this to scale. So I'm going to press S. And since I'm not designating any axis like X, Y, Z, it assumes I want all of them. So Shift D, then S, and then I move my mouse towards the inside, and then I'm just kind of eyeball that. Okay, as big as that one right there. So it's slightly smaller. Okay, can't see it right here, but there it is. So I'm trying to copy that black ball inside. All right, and then we're going to rename this as the inner ball. All right, so, and the way I rename, it's just basically double click. You get access to inside the outliner right here. Okay, so and I can easily select then with the confusion of the X-ray right here, so I can actually access that easily. Okay, so the inner ball, we can just hide that for now. We don't need to see it for now. We're going to work on this. So basically, we're going to cut this in half and take out this part right here. Okay, so to expose the inside. Okay. So to work on this one, I'm going to press Tab or to go to edit mode. So if I press Tab, it goes to edit mode. If you don't like hitting Tab, you can also go here from object mode to edit mode. Once you access your edit mode, you'll have your points or vertices, edge or lines, face, or your polyface right here. So you have three types of selection, what makes up that object. Okay, and it depends on what you plan to do with the object. Okay, so since we're in X-ray mode, I'm going to go to face mode right here. Keyboard shortcut for this is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1 is for point, 2 for edge, 3 for faces. Okay, so I'm going to select the bottom vertices right here by just doing a rectangular selection. So I have a select box right here, and you have multiple select style in Blender. You can do a lasso or a circle or a tweak. All right, select box is what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to drag a rectangle right here. It goes all the way. Okay, so you can see I got the bottom half. All right, and the reason why it got everything, it's because I have X-ray on. If X-ray is off and I just drag this, it will only select whatever you're seeing from that viewport. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to press X-ray again, drag a rectangle, and I want to make sure I grab all of those by including all the dots inside those faces. If you don't do this in one try, you can delete this multiple ways. If you can't do it like one selection like I did, then select what you can delete, select what you can delete until you get the job done. Okay, so there's no right or wrong way. There's just faster, more efficient way to do things. Okay, so now that I have those, I'm going to press X on the keyboard to delete, and I'm going to delete faces. So now we got half of this one. All right, so the issue here is this one. I'm going to have to move this up to match that line and maintain a sphere, hemisphere shape. All right, so I'm going to go to edge mode, which is that one right there, or press number 2 on your keyboard. I'm going to select one edge just to show you that that one got selected. Okay, if you want to select the entire ring going all the way around, hold down Alt or Option on your keyboard and simply left click it again, and it select a loop that goes all the way around. Now we need to move this up. Okay, we have our transform tools here, so I'm going to use the transform tools so you can easily visualize what I'm doing. I could also do keyboard shortcut here. If I want to move this up, it will be G for grab and Z axis to go up, kind of like so. Okay, but I'm going to use this so you can visualize what I'm doing. So this is the move tool right here, and it just kind of shows you here where it's what I'm grabbing on the screen. So if I grab that and then I move it up on the Z axis, all right, so we just want to expose it all the way till there. Okay, I'm guessing there's some bevel going on in here, so that's why there's some blur in this and some curvature in there. All right, so by doing that, we have offsetted this, and it kind of messed this up right here, right? So it doesn't look, I mean, it's not so bad, you know. We could actually leave it like here, but, you know, we need to do topology lesson now so that you guys understand. All right, so I'm going to press 1 to go to point mode. Then I'm going to select all this. This line right here is one we kind of need to tweak a bit, just a little bit, okay? And when I'm doing this, of course, it selects the back also. But we want to do this on both sides. So symmetry is right here. As you can see, this is the button for, the icon for symmetry, sorry. We want to mirror it on the x-axis, which is this side, right? So whatever I do here, it works on the other one, okay? So what I want to do is simply move this up a bit to line this point up so that it's has kind of in between right there. By doing so, we kind of messed this up over here, right? So it kind of moved up a little bit over there. So what I'll do is just select this part right now and then simply rotate it just a little bit. I'm going to press R and then rotate it just a hair right there and then position it back. All right, so I'm just trying to get that kind of formation right there and trying to make this as a straight line as possible, but I think I'll do right there. So it's a minor tweak, okay? And like I said, you could leave it alone. No one would notice that that's not a, you know, where it's supposed to be. And the other thing also here is I probably want to move this a little bit on the X right here, so we get that kind of curvature going. That might be a little too much. So I'm just moving this by a hair right there. All right, once you're done with that, turn off your symmetry because that'll drive you nuts later if you forgot to turn that off. Whatever you do on one side happens on the other. Okay, so another thing right here is that our half a circle right here, it's almost matching that line. So I'm just going to leave that alone because there's probably bevel in here that's causing that bleed in right there. So right off the bat, the photo right here matches kind of this one. If your photo is different, of course you got to follow that. You got to move other things, and but it's close enough, right? So let's just get those going right there and delete this part right here. So there are several ways, like I said, to get your selection. So if I go to face mode, because we need this whole, you can do this. You can do massive selection right here. You can select by holding down shift and then, you know, but I'm going to teach you one way to kind of get your selection faster. So I'm going to go to point mode. I'm going to select that point in the middle. Keep in mind the back of the Pokeball is going to be close like that. So you want to make sure you're only doing this for the front. The danger of this is that if you have X-ray on, you might actually accidentally select one in the back. So I'm going to turn that off for now. I want to make sure all I'm doing is on this front. So I have that point selected. So I'm going to do a control and the plus sign on your numpad. By doing that, I'm increasing my selection. You see it? So I'm going to go all the way and then minus to deselect. All right, so by doing that, you can make selection much faster by selecting just one point and then grow your selection. But that's a point mode. We want to delete faces here. So simply switch to face or number 3, then you get face selection instead. Press X, faces to delete, and there you go. So now we have this thing kind of hollowed out in the front. Okay. Next is we want to give it a thickness, right? So we're going to turn on our inner ball so we could see what is the distance right there to give it thickness. All right. So we're going to use a modifier for this. Modifier are basically what they are. They modify the object. Okay. Some modifiers are meant for modeling or animation or particles, depending on the flavor. So we're going to use this one. It looks like this wrench icon right here, modifier. And I'm in object mode, and I'm selecting the outer ball. I'm going to add the modifier solidify. So it just basically gives thickness to the object that's paper thin. Okay. And we want even thickness right here. Very important that you turn this, check this mark. Okay. Might not even matter because it's still a sphere. So it probably will be that thickness that we want. All right. And looks like there's a gap right there. So I'm just going to click the thickness right here, the right chevron, to give it another one. So that will probably do it. I don't really know the mechanics of the Pokeball, how thick that should be relative to the size. So I think that's fine right there. So 0.02. Okay. Again, we're leaving us everything close to default, so you don't have to work as much. Okay. All right. Next is that we're going to go to number 1 on our numpad. We're not going to worry about the bottom because it'll just be a duplicate of this part. Okay. Until we're done with the modeling on this one, then we'll switch to the other. All right. So now we know for a fact that this is the area right here that we need to flatten. We need to make those buttons, right? So I'm going to hide the outer ball for now so we can work with the inner ball. I'm going to turn on the X-ray mode again. Okay. Select the ball right here. Press tab to go to edit mode. So now that I have the edit mode, I'm in edit mode. I need to make sure that I think the front will have to be flat. Okay, kind of like portion of the Death Star where okay, that one is concave though. But anyway, let's go here, and then I'm going to select the press number 2 to go to edge mode. Select one edge right there just to show you which part I'm selecting. Okay, and then I'm going to hold down Alt or Option and click that edge again so it selects the entire ring. All right, we want to make sure that this is the one that's going to be flat, right? So we want to mark this. I'm going to turn off my X-ray so you can see it. We want to right click this, and you want to mark it as sharp so that when we add our smoothness to this, like what I'm about to do right here, shade smooth. Okay. And then when we flatten this thing will still remain sharp right here. Okay. Can't see that right now because it's all smooth and we haven't turned on our object data normal. Okay. So what I'll do here is I need to flatten this. All right. So I want to make sure that everything here is kind of just flattened on this particular area. So I'm going to press number 1, select this one, and then click Control plus all the way up here. Okay. So I'm going to press number 3 on the numpad right there. Okay. And this, we're viewing it on the side. So I just want to flatten this. The best way to flatten this is simply do a scale. Okay. We can do a scale. We can do, let's just do just this part first, just so that you understand what's happening. Okay, you see that one is pointing, and you could say that I could just move that like so. Yeah, you can. Okay, but one way to make sure that it's all kind of flat, and I have X-ray mode, so it selects on all the side, is to scale it. So if I scale it along the Y-axis, so S scale, right, Y-axis, and then 0, so you can see just flattened that all the way. Okay. Then I can move this. You can even move it to snap or whatnot. So you can just leave it kind of like so. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at where the position is, kind of like one grid on that side. So if I select all this, SY0, okay, and press enter, then that's all flat. Then I can just kind of move it back like so, where it was, or you can have like a position guide. But I think that's fine right there. Okay. Because we just want to make sure that it's inside the outer ball and about the same position as the solidified thickness. Right there's fine. Okay, so let's hide the outer ball again, and we're done with this one at least. Okay, so it's all flat. Let's take a look. All right. Can't see it right here because we have the shade smooth on. So now it's time to turn on a property here. on the data object, okay, object data property, go to normals, and then turn on auto smooth. 30 degrees is fine. So once you click that, it finds all those creases or extrusion as non-smooth, so you can kind of isolate it. So in a way, we're still dealing with a slightly higher polygon because we didn't change the segments or rings on the sphere, but we're not going to apply a subdivision surface to this, which is another modifier that increases the density of object but makes them super smooth. For EV purpose, and you can easily, I mean, it still looks good. You can see a little bit of jaggedness, but that's part of a beginner tutorial, is that you need, you don't want too many polygons to begin with. Okay. All right. So there's that. I'm going to press number 1 to go to the front right here. So let's take a look at an X-ray, and it looks like, we're going to have to create the button right here. So it looks like this is a panel, a flat panel, and then it looks like a button right here. Okay, we're gonna make the button to kind of look like those arcade buttons, where they're a little bit convex. I mean, concave. They're a little bit kind of going down a little bit. All right. So there's several ways to do this. One way is to do an inset polygon. Okay, inset polygon is it's this tool right here, inset faces. Okay, keyboard shortcut is I. What it does, it kind of creates another layer of, it's kind of like an inside extrusion, okay? Kind of like when you extrude and scale it, but you just want to leave it in there. Another way to do this is we can do a loop cut, okay? A loop cut, okay? Control R or Command R if you're on a Mac. It creates a loop cut on any quads, okay? Continuous quad. If there's one that's not a quad, it'll stop right there. So I'm going to press I right here for inset faces, okay? Or you can click this tool right here. And what you can do is drag the yellow button, okay? Oops, need to be in an angle right here. And then you can kind of create a ring. There it is, okay? So I'm going to click undo. Turn that off, basically. All right, we don't want the inset faces there because we can't match that, right? We're not seeing it. So if I go right here, instead of using the tool, I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to press I, drag the mouse until I see the it kind of matching that area right there. So we need another, we created a loop right here. Okay, so we're gonna need to go in there and kind of do an indent on that one so that it looks like there's kind of like a position for it where it goes down and goes back up. All right, so I'm gonna go to number 3 right here to faces. Okay, and what it will do is that we're just gonna create that little gap right there. So that's another I. So I'm gonna press I right here, inset faces, and then just give it that tiny little separation right there. Okay, then I'm gonna select that polygon to show you which polygons I'm gonna select, and I want to select all the way around. So I'm gonna click this area of the polygon right here, this line, by holding down option, and does a loop selection. Okay, if you click the horizontal line instead, it will select that instead going up. All right, so make sure that it's that one you select. So I'm gonna alt click this vertical line, goes all the way around. So what we need to do here is I'm gonna press E to extrude. This is your tool for it. And I'm gonna extrude back. How much? I don't really know. It's just so that there's just space in there where it shows that there's a gap. Okay. All right. That should be good enough. So if you're a Pokeball expert, you probably know the distance where how that much goes in, but that's good enough for now. I'm gonna press number 1 to go to point mode. Select this inner point. Control plus to increase my selection. Okay. So now I'm going to press number 3 to go to faces, or click that button. Okay, and I'm going to extrude again. This time I'm going to go to number 3 so we can see on the side. I'm going to press E, and that's how much that extrusion is. Okay, so you just kind of protrude a little bit. Okay, all right, let's do another one here. I'm going to number 1, X-ray mode again, because we need now the actual button. So I'm going to press I again, Okay. Oops. Yeah, I need to go to that selection. Did I double extrude? Yeah. So I have extruded this actually by accident before. So when I press I, it doesn't work, but I still have my I still have this selection, so I'll just simply scale it. Okay, so that would be just scaling it. So when I got this scale, just kind of match that outer ring right there. So if I press I without that extrusion to begin with, that would have made this thing what it's supposed to be. And since it's an inset from the Mark Sharp right here, so we're going to have to kind of clean up in here. We don't want everything as Mark Sharp, so we're going to have to cover that one. Okay. Scaling it, since I scaled it on the inside. Did I mess this up? Yes, I think I did. So let's okay, so it didn't actually did a double extrusion. It's just that it's quite sensitive with the mouse right here. Okay. All right, so it didn't do a double extrusion, so I'm gonna have to undo that one. All right, so it's this part right here. Okay. So there's several ways to do this. Probably gonna clean it up right now. Is what I'll do is I'm going to delete this face right here, so I don't have all these triangles right here, and then patch it up. Okay. So I'm gonna press G just to show you that there's no extrusion. I'm gonna press X right here and then delete faces. Okay, so it deleted all those faces. What I'll do now is select number 2 or go to edge mode. Alt click that edge so it selects everything right here. And then I'm gonna press F to fill in the face right here, faces. Okay, there it is. So it's clean. It has a lot of issue because there's no it's not a quad, right? There's a bunch that used to converge in a point, but it should be a lot cleaner right now. So all right, so I'm going to be in number 1. I'm going to go X-ray mode. Now I can press I easily. It'll just go like so. It'll follow that right there. Okay. All right, and I'm going to turn off X-ray so you can now show you right here. So what we can do is we can extrude this back right now. Press E, and then it goes back. Okay, so this is the button part. So it's the same thing we're going to do right here. We're going to create this kind of indentation right there. So I'm going to press I and then move it in like so. And then press E to extrude. It goes out. How much? I don't really know how much the button is supposed to go out. So I'm guessing not too much. So we're going to move it like so. Kind of the same distance as that one is protruding out. All right, so there it is. Okay, so now all we have to do is press I again. Okay, so that we can create that. Let me do I outside right here so I have more freedom with the mouse. Okay, right here. And then another one. But I'll move this inside a little bit so it kind of creates that little indentation going in. Okay. All right, so there it is. And we're almost done. Okay, we just now need to add all the bevels and whatnot to kind of soften the edges right here. Okay, so we started extruding or inset faces on a mark hard part right here. Okay, the other parts we can leave them as mark sharp. Those, okay, those things that are inside, so that because we don't need any bevel for those. So let's select all the edges right here that would not require a hard edge, okay, or a mark sharp. So it's this one right here. So I'm gonna click this and shift. I'm gonna click shift also, shift alt, that one, this one, this one, that one, and that one. Okay, and I'm gonna right click, clear sharp, so they're no longer part of what would look like sharp. Okay, they still look sharp, don't get me wrong, because we haven't done any bevel. All right, so now let's bevel these. Before I start beveling, I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to apply a scale. All right, so that Blender now will adjust to the new modeling that was done to the sphere. If you do not apply your transform, you can also do all transform in case you did some rotation and scale, you know. Blender still thinks it's the initial sphere, so and then when you do bevel or other type of modeling, they kind of look skewed because it still thinks it's the original. Once you apply what you have done, like scale, rotation, or transform, then Blender understands that this is the object right now, no longer carries the information from its initial creation. Okay, so there's that. Let's go to look dev right here. Oh, it's way too bright. Okay, let's go here. All right, so that's fine right there. Let's add some bevel. Okay, bevel, we're beveling some edges, so let's do one, well, multiple at a time. So I'm going to press tab right here. I still have the selection from the previous one, and those are the ones we actually want to bevel. Except for this inner one right here. I don't think we need to add bevel to this. So I'm going to click Alt, Shift, click that one to deselect that from the selection. So we still have the previous one. I'm going to right click here and then bevel edges. Then you can move the mouse. As you can see right here, it's creating that bevel corner. Okay, to make things a little bit kind of smoother. We can also add segments right here. If you open up your bevel, keep in mind this only stays right here while you're at the initial bevel tool. If you do something else, you go back, this is lost. Okay, so I'm going to click to make it smooth, probably 4 right there. Okay, let's take a look. All right, there you go. So now it's a smoother kind of edge right there. Okay, did we need bevel for this one? Probably not, but we'll leave it like that as long as this one is hard edge. Let's take a look what the outer one looks like. All right, and I think we're done with the modeling on this one. Okay, so there's kind of like your little thumb rest kind of for the button right here. Okay, so let's go to the outer one. Let's hide the inner ball. Okay, and we probably don't need the background anymore at this point, so we're just gonna select that, press delete. Okay, and this one right here, if I press tab, since the modifier is still active, we're never going to get access to the inside polygons here, so it's time we apply the solidify now so that it becomes part of the object. So you have to be in object mode, click apply right here. So when I press tab right now, as you can see, I have access to all this. All right, so first things first is that we need to shade smooth this. All right, so it's smooth, but it has that issue because we need to go to our normals right here and then apply smooth. Okay, there's that. Now let's apply some bevel on the outside. So I'm gonna press number 2 in edge mode, select this, click Alt Option. Okay, it goes all the way there, and then Shift Alt click this one so it goes all the way around. And I'm not beveling the inside, that needs to be sharp. It goes all the way, not around, halfway, sorry. So Alt Shift click this side as well. All right. So let's take a look. We need to bevel that corner to, I don't know, maybe, or maybe not. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna right click, bevel. All right, probably looks a little weird right there because I forgot to do one thing. Let me apply my scale first, sorry. Gotta practice what you preach, right? So, and let's take a look right now, bevel. Okay. Does it need all that segments or just trying to match the other one? Probably. There we go. It's probably good enough right there. All right, and we didn't need to bevel this one. It just goes in there. All right, so there it is. Let's take out the inner ball. Let's go to the front right here. So all I need to do here is duplicate this, rotate it, okay? So Shift D to duplicate it, then R to rotate it, then hold down Control to snap. Very important, you're rotating with Control on, otherwise you will not be able to get a 5-degree increment right there, okay? So, And the reason why this work is because we didn't move anything. It's center of or pivot point. It's still at the center, so it matches. So there's your Pokeball, all done at this stage. Okay, we just need to add some shading to it now. Okay, so let's start with let's go to look dev right here, which is basically our preview mode. Okay, and let's take a look at some colors that you can do. All right, so let's go to the shading tab right here. We can also go to the shading tab right here, but we don't not going to do anything fancy for this one. So all right, let's start with the top part. Okay, I'm going to click new. It's going to have a material, so we're going to call this one the red. I'm guessing it's a metallic ball because they do throw this thing and it needs to survive. So all right, now let's, or composite plastic. Anyway, so red metal. Okay, we're going to make it a metallic, so just drag this all the way to 1. All right, and let's make it red. So I'm just going to drag that red right there all the way down. Okay, and there it is, metallic red. We can make it a little bit shinier, so the roughness, we're gonna give it less roughness, so it will kind of reflect a little bit of the world right there. Okay, maybe 0.2, just so that we can mask the other one. All right, there it is. And if you want to make it even fancier, you can clear coat it, so that it kind of has like a, you know, I guess when you buy them brand new, they're all clear coated at some capacity. Okay, and then they all get dinged up. All right. Okay, so that one's done. All right, so now let's we can duplicate this and then just make it a new object and change this to white, so we keep all this. But for learning purpose, let's just start from scratch so that you get to see it again. I'm gonna click new. Okay, and the same thing as before, we made it metallic. We gave it a roughness of 0.2, and it's already white, right? Make it super white and clear coat. Okay, however, it's too reflective. It's becoming more like a chrome, so we're gonna go give it more roughness right there. All right, so there you go. So it has its shininess, it has that clear coat, but it's not looking chrome, so maybe 0.8 on the roughness, opposite of the 0.2. All right, so there it is. So it's all kind of metal white car paint deal. Okay, and now let's go and hide this for now. Let's work on actually, let me outer ball red. Okay, guys, this is important. Name your object. Don't be like me when I'm teaching. I don't rename most of the stuff and it just becomes a mess. You'll see an example when I show you my Akira bike. There's like 2,000 cylinders. Anyway, all right, so we know which one is which, so let's turn those off or hide them. Okay, inner ball. It's going to be black. So click new. Okay, this, we're going to call this one black metal. I'm guessing it's metal also, whatever the outer, I mean the inner outer thing for the ball. Black metal. We're going to make it not pure black, maybe a little slightly gray. We'll leave it. Okay, so metallic. All right, and I don't know, gonna clear coat it also. All right, there we go. So that's the inside, looking like plasticky though. So roughness, let's increase the roughness a bit. Lower the, well, I think this one here, it's being pure black, is the, all right, well, this is on HDR, right? So once we go here, this is a reality here. We're probably gonna go with yeah, give it a little bit of, we can always adjust it so we could see it better. All right, so slightly gray. Okay, all right, right there. And then we're gonna add a new material. Click the plus right here. We're gonna call this one well, the I don't want to make it look like the white one right here, because that's not I don't think this is metallic. Well, maybe this part right here. So I added one by clicking plus, and then so I don't have to redo all that stuff. I'm just gonna click this down arrow right here, and then select the white material, which I did not name. All right, so let's make sure which one it is. I think it's this one right here. Yes, metallic. All right, so let's rename this one white metal. I can't believe we missed that one. I guess I didn't press it. I can only spell. All right, there it is. Okay, and the reason for that is we're gonna do a selection right here, which we want as that. Okay, so I'm going to select faces. This one. We're gonna go to solid mode so we can see it easily. Okay, and then I'm gonna control plus on the numpad to grow my selection all the way to the back. Actually, yeah, probably right there. Oh, one more. No. Yep. So that one right there, and I'm just gonna select the white metal, and then let's go here so you can see it. I'm gonna click assign. So that got the white metal, same thing as this one. And then for this one, I want this to be kind of like plastic white. So instead of metallic, okay? So I'm gonna add another one, click the plus sign. We're gonna make a new one. I'm not gonna make it metallic, we're gonna leave it as plastic. I'm probably gonna leave all the defaults here. I'm just gonna call this one plastic. White plastic. Okay, and then hit assign. All right. Will we see a difference? Probably. There you go. So it has kind of more like a dull look to it, or we can make it a little shiny also. It is plastic after all. Less roughness. Let's turn on all the other components, and there you go. Okay. I guess this gray stuff right here is looking a little weird. So let's yeah, make that into pure black. All right. And there you have it. Okay. So you can give it some lights and a background. So let's do that real quick. So I'm gonna go Shift A, get a plane. Okay, I'm gonna scale this plane. All right, and then this is gonna be our floor, and I'm just gonna drop it GZ, and it's hard to tell. There's a plugin that makes sure that you're not having to do any of this things that I'm doing. It's called Drop It, I think, and you just click it and drops it in there. All right, so what we're about to do next is create the background wall. Okay, so I'm just going to select the edge in edit mode right here. I'm going to press E to extrude, and then Z axis to go up. Oh, sorry, I thought I selected just one. Yeah, so press E, number 2 to just select that edge. E to extrude, and then Z axis. There it is, just goes up. Okay, now we need to create that infinity look, which is what you call a cyc or a cyclorama. So you need this portion right here to be beveled. So let's apply the transform first. Go here, right click, same as before. There you go. The reason for this, if we're going to increase the segments a bit, okay, the reason for this is that, and shade smooth it, is that when you look at the background, it looks like it's infinity because you don't see a cut. All right, and of course that only works if you properly light it, you know. Okay, so let's just do some quick kind of IKEA lighting here, or Target brochure lighting. First thing is, let's see what our camera looks like. So press 0. Okay, so no one really takes photography product like this way up, so we need to control it. With the sidebar still on, let's go to view, and then let's lock camera to view. So now when you use your navigation in Blender, it goes with the camera. All right, so let's make it like a thumbnail shot, kind of like so. All right, so our background needs to be bigger, so SX to scale it. There we go. And I'm probably gonna go like so we can create our thumbnail. Okay, all right, right there should be good, fine. Okay, let's go to we're on Eevee, the engine. So let's turn on our ambient bloom and our screen space reflection. Let's select this floor also. Let's give it a proper shading. We don't want this reflected, so we're gonna make it super rough, like 1. Okay, and make it kind of white right there, or I don't know, yellow, like for that's probably too much. Okay, we'll just worry about and play with the lights with that. Just gonna bring that in there back. Okay, let's do our lighting. Let's select the. I'm gonna press 0 here to get out of camera. Let's get rid of that light. You can see something in the world right here because your world is not really pure black. It has some sort of grayish spill ambient lighting. So I'm going to, we can drag that all the way down to make it black, but let's just kind of leave it alone for now. Add light, area light. So this is kind of like a LED soft light in a soft box. Z to move it up. We can scale it a bit. Okay, so you can see that's the reason why you have rectangular and octagonal soft boxes in photography. It's just basically catch light, what will be reflected on the eye. Of course, there's a difference in how they spread light, but that's very minimal. Okay, 10 watts. Let's go 1,000 watts. All right, super bright, and the bloom probably is what's causing that one. So I'm going to turn that off for now. Okay, I'm going to go to our lighting right here. Go to shadow and then click on contact shadow. All right, here we go. We don't have global illumination on Eevee. There's an add-on, so a lot of this stuff doesn't reflect back. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we're just going to light it with that thing in mind. All right, so I'm going to press number 1 right here, which is the numpad. Select this light, Shift D to duplicate it, and I'm just going to go here, press R, Control, and it's kind of give it an angle like so. Let's press 0 to see what the canvas looks like. Okay, so we got our rim lighting right here on this side. Okay, and let's go to number 1. I'm gonna duplicate this again, this light. I'm gonna move it over here, rotate it, just kind of aim it a little bit like so. I'm gonna go to the top, which is number 7, rotate and control. Just kind of, all right, I don't know if that would work, but let's see what that does look like right now. All right, so still a little dark on this side. This one probably way overhead. Let's go number 3, and probably could rotate this. All right, so it's not the best lighting here, but just want to kind of do a hero shot on this one. So let's add some color to this one. I don't know what the Pokemon color palette is, so I'm guessing there's some bluish going on, and on this one some yellow going on. Let's see, not looking too good on the reflection right there. Just probably because I don't want to lose that white. Okay, well, leave it like that. Okay, let's take a look. Render image. Let's see what kind of looks like an Eevee. Okay, that's not so bad. We do have some pattern going on in here. Is this something that I missed? Shade smooth. Oh, because of the shadowing and does the auto smooth does something to it? All right, it's just how the light's kind of broken down on this. It's yeah, we need to make it a little bit more shiny. I forgot about that because we were on Look Dev before. So let's see. It's metallic. It should fare better with the lighting. But, oh, there we go. Did I just ruin this one right here? Yeah, I think that's the one I... Okay. There we go. Now it has not so metallic look, but it has that kind of reflection in there. All right, then I ruined my camera because I was working on the camera. All right, right there. Let's take a look. Render image. All right, and that's it. And it's all done. So that's your Pokeball lesson.